And we are live right now.
Perfect.
So hello. Let me just say hello to the folks that have popped into the chat real quick. E-Rock, how's it going? Thanks for coming in. Ellie Orchid, as always, thank you for joining. Big Ben, thanks for stopping by. And Russ Young. In fact, Russ is one of the guys that mentioned that he was looking forward to meeting
Awesome.
Clint
Yeah.
of the Captain's Stash.
Yeah.
So,
I wish it was mutual where we could, see everybody.
Yep. Russ is a real good guy. Always there for everybody.
Yeah, he's been a great supporter of us for sure.
So I was curious, how long has the Captain's Stash been with us? I looked at the website, but I didn't see like a founding date or anything like that.
No, we started back in December of 19. And so we actually that's when our website went live, should I preface. We actually started earlier than that, just locally, and would just sell to just a very few people that knew about us. And I would say that probably started towards the beginning of 2019.
Oh, wow. And, or the end of 2009. Oh, you started giving it away to people you knew?
Yeah. So kind of, I guess I could go into our origin story kind of. I was like everybody. I bought my beard products and thought, I could do this. I like making, and gave it a try. And we started producing it. And my barber at the time was carrying a product, and she liked the way my beard felt, looked, and just asked me what I used. And I told her at that time I'd started making my own. And she offered me there on the spot, if I would start making it for her, she would drop everything in her store and start selling it.
Oh, wow.
And so that kind of started our business venture. And so it was very unexpected, but it was a great thing. So
it's a funny industry at 2+ years.
Yeah.
You're not a newcomer. You're,
Yeah. We're not the big guy, but we also, I'm not on live every day and things like that. So I have two boys that keep us very, very busy. And so just hard to find time.
Yeah. And if I say hello to people from time to time,
you
I'm
go
not
ahead.
trying to interrupt, but hello, I Shift Focus. Welcome in. And we got David. Bearded Native. Welcome in.
Native, how's it going?
Oops, and I skipped someone. So, yeah, I didn't mean to stop.
No, you're good.
Train of thought.
Go right ahead.
So, yeah, 2.5 years, and you're the, that's a long time for a beard company nowadays.
Yeah, I feel like we've kind of tested that. We've stood that test of the initial startup and kind of lived through it a little bit,
And I'm wondering, how did you come up with this carrier blend? Squalene, almond, broccoli seed, jojoba, argan, and sunflower.
Yeah, that's not nothing like what we started with. And so I started out with a very basic blend. I think our blend to begin with was like grapeseed, argan, jojoba, and that was it. Just the 3-oil blend. And just didn't like it. You know what I mean? It did its job. I was, the whole stigma behind grapeseed oil, was there for a long time, and it still is. It's just not as talked about as much. But I started noticing it did well in my beard, but it just wasn't quite what it was. But everything I used at that time had grapeseed in it, so I didn't know any better.
Got it. Well, and I've always liked grapeseed. Works great for me. I've got no issue with it at all. I do think it, goes bad a little quicker than other things, but I think
I agree.
I think hemp seed goes bad about as quickly,
Yeah.
But
so, with us really turning it into a business, we really wanted to move something more to, what's more consumer friendly, what's more marketable. And we spent probably the first full year redeveloping that. And it didn't take us long to start looking elsewhere.
And I'm sorry, I've got to call someone over.
Yep.
Frank Beans, come. When Love Them Labs comes in, I've got to bring the dogs in. Come on up, say hello. I Love
Awesome.
Them Labs.
Frank and Beans, huh?
Frank and Beans, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I didn't need a French kiss. Thanks. Right inside. Okay, thanks, Beans. Yeah, it was. I came up with it from the movie Something About Mary.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I caught that right away.
Martin, welcome in.
Martin.
Gary. Jim Riley. Welcome in. I think this might be your first time in. Western Ram, welcome in. And I love grapeseed too. Yeah. And I don't know if you agree with me, Clint, but everything I've read and my experience with some products with hemp is that hemp seed goes bad about as quickly as grapeseed.
You know, I've not looked a lot into hemp seed. It's just one that never flew on our radar. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We, when we started testing, I really started looking at a lot. This is sad to say, but a lot of women's products, because they're all about the right oils and what they do. And the number one that jumped out on everything was squalene.
Yep.
And so
it's funny often, and I keep on forgetting there's a difference between squalene and squalane. I don't remember what the difference is, but I'm pretty sure there is one. In the past, I've often, when there's a lot of squalane in it, I'll have a problem, but with yours, I don't at all. It's sort of like a lot of times I'll have a problem with hemp, but certain companies, my beard just,
we found at first we were going to do just a very heavy squalene. It's still our main ingredient, but I would find even that it would just dry up so fast because it's such a thin oil. Yeah. I mean, it's just a tad more than just water. You know what I mean? The consistency of it. And so finding that balance to give you where it's not going to dry, give you that hay beard feel.
Yep.
And everything else. And so that's what we focused a lot on.
And I've always wondered when I do have that, that hay feeling.
Yeah.
Is it really the worst thing? Because the oil didn't just evaporate.
No.
It absorbed in. So,
right. Yeah.
It's got to be good. And Bearded Native says grapeseed dries out his beard. So, and I can see that, any thin oil. But it's always occurred to me that the oil didn't just disappear. It's still there.
It's still there, 100%.
Yeah, we got some people saying hello.
That is no lie.
And I did ask you before we started, gray beards suck up thin oils. Yes, they do. Well, and that was part of the reason I was, if I had just looked at your ingredient list, I might not have thought it'd be for my gray beard.
Yeah.
But when I wear it, it works beautifully. So
yeah, it's obviously it's got the perfect test.
Yeah.
for gray. So everything we make is number one. I have to like it, and
gotcha.
And hopefully everyone else does. And
yep. And I can tell looking at you that you've got experience with gray beards.
Definitely.
And, it's something I asked you before we started out was if you could name your favorite scent from your main lineup.
Yeah, my favorite is the Midnight Coast. Excuse me. It's our newest scent that we've come out with outside of our seasonal. But man, as soon as we got it, it was an instant favorite. That's my wife. It's her favorite. Before going up to this, her favorite was Crow's Nest. And once we got the Midnight Coast, she's all about the midnight.
Got you right now. Crow's Nest is my favorite, and I'm kind of odd when it comes to that citrusy cologne kind of scent.
Yeah,
I'll get a citrus cologne that I really love, but I'll kind of think it's not perfect for me, and I think it's not perfect until perfect for me until I find out that I've emptied the bottle because I kept on wearing it over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
And in fact, Crow's Nest is one that I think I'll definitely repurchase because, and there aren't that many that I love so much that I'm going to repurchase. It's, a handful of scents that,
Sure. Well,
that I'll go back to.
That's the highest form of praise, in my opinion.
But it sounds like you're telling me Midnight Coast is going to beat it out.
I love it, man. I do. But I will say, today, whenever I had a friend reach out to me that's new, just growing out his beard, Crow's Nest was the one I steered him to.
Yeah, and Russ Young says after seeing your stash, you can see how you came up with the business name. Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
we wanted it to fit the build world, but we also wanted that play on words, where the captain keeps his own stash, None of the good stuff is there, but it plays both ways. So,
and for those that don't know, Midnight Coast, Clint's favorite of his lineup is orange zest, basil leaf, sandalwood, cashmere musk, and amber. I'm kind of like, I love orange zest. Basil, I can take it or leave it, but I love how you then kind of knock it down with the sandalwood and cashmere.
Yeah.
And then I can't even imagine how this all plays out.
If you like, the best way I can describe it is if you just like a really good cologne that's not that really crisp cologne, if that makes any sense, that bright floral cologne, it's perfect.
Yeah, I the sandalwood and the cashmere musk must kind of mellow it.
Yeah, definitely.
And what have we got? I'm falling a little behind here.
Oh, you're good.
And Chris says he hasn't tried the company yet. Well, you should. And just to list that ingredients list again on the oils, it's squalane, sweet almond, broccoli seed, jojoba, argan, and sunflower. So it's 6 oil blend.
Yes, sir.
Yep, and I guess Chris likes the sound of Midnight Coast.
Yeah. So some of our favorite, a couple of our scents, we do a lot of cologne-esque type scents. I would really put all of them, maybe with the exception of one, in that cologne type category. But they're not your normal everyday scents,
And Unofficial Ken is calling out Port Royal, which I mentioned that I didn't list it in the top 5. I would pick teakwood, leather, tobacco, amber, oud, tonka bean, and peppercorn. I don't know why I wouldn't put that up there. Maybe the leather throws me off a little bit.
The leather is very, very subtle in it. You don't get so like we have leather in our captain's quarters, and it's not the same leather. We use 2 different types of leather.
Got you.
So one is very muted and one is very loud.
Yeah, I mean, you got leatherheads out there that love it, and those of us that can take it or leave it. And Western Rim wanted to mention that you are famous for your soaps.
We are. That's kind of what we've made our name with. Even though we've been a beard company before our soaps are definitely taken off.
I did look over your soap page, and I was getting a kick out of some of these. The espresso scrub soap.
Yeah.
Looks like you could eat it. It's
yeah, we're lacking right now on the site with soaps. Black Friday and the week after, it really knocked us out.
When you sell out, you take them off the site?
We'll leave them up. They'll just show out of stock right now because what's on there now is pretty much our core line of soaps. And we're always adding new soaps just to kind of see how they do and just to try to change things up a little bit. The espresso scrub was actually one that was not intended to stay. And so, but the response to it made it stay for sure.
In which one was that again?
The
Oh, the
espresso scrub.
espresso scrub.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it looks like you could eat that thing. It's
I will say this, it's not one that you wash your whole body with. It's an exfoliating soap, 1000%, and it can get pretty rough. But yeah.
And Bearded Native mentioned that Castaway is and Salty Barber are his favorites.
Awesome.
I got to tell you, I love Castaway. I love
Yeah.
the coconut with the lemon. I think that's awesome. And Salty Barber,
Barber, I will tell you, is nothing like any other barber, in my opinion, barbershop that's out there. We set out to make it different, and I think it definitely did that.
Well, when I looked at the scent profile, I didn't even think it was going to be a barbershop.
Yeah.
I just thought that happened to be the name. Salty Barber, bergamot, lemon, lime, grapefruit, melon, lavender, jasmine, cardamom, amber, oak moss, white patchouli, and oud. That's on my list of the 5 that I'd get.
Yeah, it's not like your typical. It's definitely not a talc type barbershop, but it's not your just general barbershop either.
Yeah, and Unofficial Ken is singing the praises of your soap. He said he's tried at least half of them.
Yeah, Ken's been a great supporter of us, for sure.
And he also mentions he hates leather, but he loves that scent. So I'm not sure which one he's talking about. If it's
I think he's referring back to the Port Royal.
Okay. Yep. I could see that. Yeah, and I don't hate leather. It's just not.
Well, it's not me.
I don't.
I don't. When we first started, we had just a straight leather scent, and because it was asked for, and I couldn't stomach to wear it. It's not for me.
And Gary said he's not tried Captain Stash yet, but he hears your soaps are some of the best on the market.
Appreciate that.
I love the variety you've got. What's that? 11 different scents?
We do right now, and we've got one seasonal still right now.
Speaking of your seasonals, I didn't go into the descriptions, but do you want to talk about? I don't know how long it's been there, but I guess you call it the holiday collection.
Yeah, we have our holiday blend. So we usually do a. No, we don't have any just facial only. We are coming out with, though, just to answer that question real quick, we are going to be bringing out our activated charcoal and tea tree soaps here very soon. I make it a lot because I have 2 teenage boys, and so they, for that acne prone boy, it does wonders. And but no, it's a great soap. I use it all the time. I have a whole bunch of it in my bathroom right now.
Oh, and I kind of blew by Mark. Hi there, Mark. Welcome in. Sorry about that. But
our holiday collection, we try and do 3 to 4 different holiday blends a year, or seasonal blends. Honestly, though, I'm thinking that the Winter Woods may actually stick around and make it back into our lineup. The response that we've got on it.
Am I right? Oh, wow. There are a lot more than 4 cents. There are a lot of cents here.
And maybe with just the name rebrand on it, but it's been really good.
Yeah, it looks like you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seasonal scents.
Yeah, we do. In the beard, we only do 1 each time. But
I see. I got confused. You've got the Winter Woods for the beard products.
Yeah.
And then it looks like 3 different for the soaps.
Yeah, we'll do 3. We actually had 4 starting out. And like the little holiday set. That's a good question. Right now, all of them were practically sold out. And so if I had to pick our biggest seller, I'd probably lean towards Admirals, but I could say the same thing with our Hemingways, our Teakwood. They're all right there. Worst sold soap. That's a hard one. I'm trying to think of what we always have left over. And honestly, I would probably lean more towards just we have our Captain's Wife line also. They don't sell as many. If you'll go to our soap page and then just scroll down below our soaps, just keep scrolling down.
Okay.
You'll see more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you've got a heck of a lot more than 11.
Yes. Yeah.
And now what's the difference with the Captain's Wife soaps? Okay.
So the only difference really is we try and flavor those maybe just a little bit more unisex, more than just, I would say, manly. And the difference is the bar itself will be a different bar than what our normal soaps are. So these are more inclined for conditioning, nourishing. So we put 3 different butters into the Captain's Wife soaps. So they're very nice and easy on the skin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at these and these sound awesome. Black raspberry and vanilla, watermelon, lemonade soap. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Beansy.
No, they're great. You know, I swap between them, especially during the colder months. I start using more of the three butter bars, just because, man, the normal line doesn't dry my skin out, but when you start using all 3 of those butters in them, you really tell a difference.
So you're saying the ones under the Captain's Wife are more cleansing? So,
not as far as cleansing, they're going to be identical. They're both going to clean. It's just I guess to phrase it in more of the terms that the Beardwell juice is, the stripping effect. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I will say I use our bar soap on my beard every day, and it's not. It doesn't strip. It's not a full strip by any means. But we wanted something that would be just a little bit softer on the skin. And that's where we came up with that. So, like, for instance, the ingredients on our main soap, it's shea butter, coconut oil. I'm drawing a blank now. Coconut oil, shea butter, avocado oil, and olive oil are the 4 main oils in it. And in the wife's line, you're looking at mango butter, shea butter, cocoa butter, sweet almond oil, coconut oil, and castor oil. And castor's in both of them, actually.
Got it. So the main line is more stripping than the wife's line.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
It will definitely give you a little bit deeper clean, but they're both going. I say that they're going to both clean you well.
Got you. And I kind of pulled you away from talking about the holiday line, I think.
You're good. Yeah, the holiday line, the Winter Woods, man, it's good. Like I said, it's probably going to come. We're probably going to re-release it into our core line, maybe just without the winter. We'll have to rebrand the name.
And I'm looking at the scent profile: bergamot, lemon peel, white birch, vetiver, pine, raspberry, vanilla. Is it very piney, or is that?
No, it's very surprising, actually. I'm trying to think. I don't know if anybody's tried our birchwood soap before. If they like our birchwood soap, they're going to love this. It's not the exact same blend, but we do use some of that fragrance that we use for our birchwood in there.
When I looked at your soaps before, I noticed the ones below. The birch one is the one that kind of jumped out at me.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was birchwood oud kind of thing or
it's not. We don't. It's not the birchwood oud that everybody sees out there. And so it's just it's a cologne woodsy scent, you know.
Okay, yeah, I see it now. Bergamot, lemon, geranium, patchouli, vetiver, and tonka bean. If I got it thinking it was birchwood oud, I would have been happy with that. Yeah, that sounds better than birchwood oud.
Yeah, no, you know, oud. We've got a couple scents with oud in it. It's not our big thing. I don't know. There's companies out there that's their niche, and I 100% support that. It's just we want our scents to be different, if that makes any sense. Not your run of the mill. So we spend a lot of time when we start mixing our scents.
In fact, I thought there were only 2 or 3 with oud. And they had usually nestled at the end of the scent profile, from what I remember.
Yeah, you know, I think if you really get down to it in our line across everything, the most basic 2 scents we have are the First Mate, you know, oak moss and sandalwood, and the Hemingway's Humidor, just Cuban tobacco and vanilla. But they're still both good. So
Yeah. Well, when I saw First Mate, I love sandalwood. Just a simple, you know, two scent combination.
Yeah.
Put it in one of the 5 that I would order.
Yeah.
And Bearded Native wanted to let us know that you're his favorite soap maker.
I appreciate that, man.
And he's tried a lot of handmade soaps, but you're top of the line. And
I appreciate that.
That they love the wife line. Yeah, I love sweet scents, and a lot of those things in the wife line sound pretty good to me. And what have we got here?
Appreciate that.
That's a good thing that Mark just mentioned. As far as your butter, poured and whipped, or just whipped?
Just whipped. We suffer through the summer and do everything we can to get it to where it needs to go, but yeah, we only do whipped.
Yep. And I'm looking at shea butter, mango butter, sweet almond oil, jojoba, arrowroot, essential oil, and fragrance. So it's a pure butter.
Yes, very much so.
And I like the size, 2 ounces. I find 4-ounce butters intimidating. Like,
yeah, it's a lot of butter.
Yeah, it's a lot of butter to go through. I've got a a 4-ounce butter in my fridge that I've been working unscented, that I've been using as my go-to, and I'm almost just dying for it to be done so I can move on to somebody else.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing too. Is we initially started with a 4-ounce butter. In fact, the container that our butter comes in is a 4-ounce container, but with it being whipped,
it takes up.
Yeah.
I'd rather not get the deal that you often get with 4-ounce butter. I hate the idea of throwing away product or not getting through it.
Yeah, just, you know, you get that butter that sits on your shelf for 2 years, and when you open it up, it's not the same.
Yeah. And in fact, just recently I had my first butter noticeably go bad, where I opened it up and it scent was gone. First time a butter actually went on me.
Thank you, Mark.
Have you ever considered 1 ounce?
We've thought about it before. Honestly, we thought about it, and that's about as far as it went.
Yep.
I think because just the uniformity of everything.
Yeah, I love the 1 ounce size, but I think there are too many people out there that would feel like it's, they want their 2 ounces and that's the standard. And
I'll tell you, and hopefully people can see that, especially when they look at our site, is I really like to keep it. I don't want a million things out there. We specialize in what we specialize. And I don't know. Sometimes I go to a site and I start looking at it and I'm just like, is it ever going to end the choice? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes it really hard to decide.
I like the number of 11 cents it's a lot, but it's not too much.
Yeah, and 11 is actually more than we wanted. And I'll tell you, a couple of them will probably be going away within the next year. Just solely based off of the sales performance.
Gotcha.
And we'll start replacing those. My magic number is 8 to 10. And so, but yeah.
And do you want to let us know which ones those might be?
Sure, I can. Yeah.
That are at the bottom?
Not that they're worse. They're just definitely not as popular.
Yeah, they're just not moving.
Number one is the First Mate. I think just simply because of the simplicity of it, you know what I mean, is what I think the problem with it is. People are looking for that complex and want that complex different scent, and oak moss and sandalwood it's very basic, but it's good. It's like I said, it's been here. We talked about this before. It started in our original lineup, and there's only 2 scents that we have that were in our original lineup, and they're both the 2 basic scents, the tobacco and vanilla and the oak moss and sandalwood.
Gotcha. In fact, that's what kind of attracted me to it.
Yeah.
I remember when I listed the 5 that I would want to get, you said you'd kind of trade out the First Mate for the crow's nest.
Yeah, and kind of going back to that conversation, and I think the only reason I would is because I would start leaning more towards the Salty Barber, you know?
Gotcha.
Because the oak moss and the sandalwood are traditionally both in a barbershop scent, and everybody that smells First Mate, a lot of them say, this reminds me of my dad's shaving, you know what I mean, or something like that.
Yeah, and to be honest, I've never had oak moss on its own. Yeah, I don't really know what it smells like on its own, so I'm just kind of curious how it would mix with sandalwood. And I thought it might give me a hint as to what oak moss actually is. Sure.
It's I agree 1,000%. And I say that, but we do make some very complex scents if you look at some of our scent profiles. The other one that will go is probably the Tortuga. And it's definitely our least selling beard scent. I think a lot of people see the incense on it and get turned away.
That's exactly what I did. In fact, I think I mentioned to you that it'd probably be more interesting for me to buy the 5 cents that I didn't pick.
Yeah.
You know, and see it because
I will tell you, if people gave it a chance and smelt it, you know, definitely they may not like it, and that's 1,000% okay. But it's not your traditional Nag Champa incense smell, you know, that you're thinking of. It's a very cologne-esque type smell.
Chris the Viking, welcome in. He's got a question. Geronial.
I'm not sure. I've never heard of it.
Well, I can always
Google it. Yeah, definitely.
You spell that? Geranial. It's an oil.
So the first thing that stands out to me when I read it is it's made with alcohol. And from what I'm seeing, they use it in citronella a lot.
Okay, yep. Yeah, I don't see anything telling me what exactly it is.
No, so I'm just looking at the chemical side of it, and it's classified as an alcohol.
Come on in, Beansy.
And so that to me would turn me away right away, just because of the alcohol.
Yeah, and so I guess the answer is probably not the greatest.
Yeah, I would definitely not try it.
And I've got a dog here messing with me. I think you might want to go outside. I might be in trouble here. And Chris wanted to mention that Tortuga sounds awesome to him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a great scent. It really is. I feel like if we didn't make it, it wouldn't be great. But just to be a little arrogant there. But just I don't think it's given the chance it's deserved. And so
E-Rock is with you on that.
I appreciate it, man. It's a good scent. So hey, y'all can save the Tortuga. How about that?
I think. And I did want to mention that I like the 4 oil special you've got. The set of 4 oils for $60.
Yes, sir.
You get it down from $18 to $15.
Yeah. Just a little bonus there.
Yeah. And what else have we got people saying here? It's one of the ingredients in an oil named Brisk. Brisk sounds like a pharmacy oil or something. I'll have to look up Brisk, but
yeah, definitely.
And he thinks he might have spelled it wrong. And looking at your beards, it makes him want a salt and pepper beard. E-Rock, I think all you're gonna have to do is wait. And
yes, buddy, that's it. Yeah, I don't know if you have kids; they'll speed that process along.
Yeah, and don't forget, with a nice salt and pepper beard often comes achy backs and knees and all that. So
definitely,
watch out for what you wish for.
Definitely.
And Mark complimenting your beard, nice and
Appreciate
thick.
That. Thank you.
And Mark wants to save Tortuga.
There you go. Start the movement, right?
And Tortuga means turtle in Spanish.
Yeah, I'll give you the origin of Tortuga. We try and stick to a theme with our branding as much as we can. More so on the beard than the soaps. The soaps have kind of gone away from that. But, our logo is the captain, the sea, and obviously Tortuga was a stronghold back in the Buccaneer days. And so that's where that name came from.
Yeah, it was a pirate.
It was, yes.
Port. And you can borrow my kids; you'll get salty quickly.
Yeah, that's mine too.
Chris saying it's a budget beard oil, and that he usually uses Mad Viking.
Okay.
One thing I found about using these oils on Amazon, a lot of people, I guess, because it comes up on Amazon, that Viking Revolution stuff.
Yeah.
And the second I see that it's made in China, I figure that if my veterinarian tells me not to buy dog treats made in China, maybe you don't want to buy beard oil made in China. I
agree. Either. 100%.
Okay, Mark's feeling bad that E-Rock didn't give him credit for interest in a salt and pepper beard. 12-year-old and 9-year-old twins.
Man.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Bearded Joey Hookham, welcome in.
What's up, Joey?
We got some more hellos and how are yous. And Chris dad joke. I need one. They're looking for a dad joke. I've got somewhere around here a book of bad dad jokes that I got for some Father's Day. And Bearded Joey Hookham wants to let us know that Admiral's helm is magical.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great scent. It's what I'm wearing tonight, actually.
In fact, just so people know, it's grapefruit, lemon, peppercorn, ginger, vetiver, tonka bean, and frankincense. This one really has me kind of curious.
So
how that frankincense at the end is going to work into everything.
Again, if you like cologne type scents, it's that 1,000%. And I could say that for the majority of ours. They're all going to fall into that cologne type scent. But it's more of that crisp, and it will surprise you because of the frankincense too. It's more of a crisp, clean smell than like the midnight. It's the opposite side of Midnight Coast, I would say.
Opposite side of Midnight Coast.
Yes.
Meaning it's brighter.
Yes.
And I kind of wondered how the peppercorn would work into that. That citrus up front, and then I can't even imagine what that is going to smell like in beer. Which I kind of like. When I just have no clue looking at the scent profile. What's going to happen?
It's hard. It really is.
And welcome in, Chris. In fact, so we talked about Midnight Coast, Salty Barber, Crow's Nest. We talked about how great Crow's Nest is, but never mentioned the profile, which is neroli, jasmine, balsam, amber, and cedarwood. In fact, that was my latest greatest compliment. I emptied out this sucker. The reason how I came to empty it out, one day I just went to my cabinet of oils, and I realized I hadn't tried your oil in a long time. And I picked up the Crow's Nest and was shocked that there was only one use left in it.
Awesome.
And
That's amazing.
So now I'm working on the Castaway. And just catching up here a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. I'm doing the same thing.
And did we talk about Port Royal?
We've mentioned it. We haven't talked about it a lot. So Port Royal is, sorry. I was working today and around the house and cleaning stuff out, and I'm just full of dust right now. Port Royal it leans more to that spicy side, but dark side. It's hard to describe because there's a lot going on in Port Royal, but man, it's good.
I can read off the scent profile: teakwood, leather, tobacco leaf, amber, oud, tonka bean, and peppercorn. Again, another one where I don't know. I could never guess. Is leather dominant, tobacco dominant?
No, the leather, even though it's there, like I said, it's a totally different leather than we use in our captain's quarter, and it's a very muted leather. It's more just like a blending agent, I guess you would say, but just to tie several of them together.
Beansy, what? Come here. I think he needs to go outside. And Mark asked if my doctor is a vet. Yes, Mark. You want cheap health care? Go to the vet. I tell them my dog's got a cold. What should he take? And I get hooked up. Cheap meds. And anything made in China with the thumbs down. Yeah, I have to. Though, I don't know if you remember, Clint, when you were a kid. I don't know how old you are, but I remember when I was a kid, made in Japan was like a joke. The cheapest garbage that existed said made in Japan.
Yeah.
That's not the case anymore.
Right.
And, you can laugh about China, but, it didn't take all that many years before made in Japan didn't mean cheap crap.
Right.
Made in Japan meant the same thing as made in China means now back then. Or it was even worse, back then. Made in Japan meant junk. And unofficial Ken would rather keep his money on this side of the world. I don't know if that's quite possible nowadays.
No.
Yeah, made in USA is good, but even the things made in the USA, the components are made somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. That
I am. I'm a full-time. Well, I say full-time. I'm not full-time paramedic anymore. I still work in the EMS world, but I'm not on a truck full-time anymore.
Gotcha. And I think we got one of the jokes someone was looking for. Why doesn't Christopher Robin have any friends? Because he's always playing with poo.
Yeah.
It's not quite a dad joke, but. And I don't know what unofficial Ken is saying right here. That it's a musky type of citrus. Very nice. What could he be referring to?
That's a good question, because I would with that, I would lean more towards the crow's nest, but it's not so musky.
Yeah. It might have been talking about
Port Royal, maybe.
or
I don't
just
know,
one of
but
the
it
ingredients.
doesn't have any citrus in it.
And I'm sorry, but I've got a dog that's begging to go outside. I'm going to
You're
leave
good.
it just for about 20 seconds. All right. Oh. Sorry about that. I didn't want to take a chance on a present on the rug.
I heard that.
I let him beg for about 20 minutes before I finally gave in. And Mark Brown says he loves frankincense. I love frankincense too when it's a minor player. And I didn't know Joey wasn't feeling well.
Yeah, he said he's been sick.
Oh, okay. Got some new beard products in Cologne. I can't smell any of them because I've been sick all week. Lack of smell. COVID?
Now, you just had COVID, was that right?
I'm
recently?
sorry?
Did you just recently have COVID?
No, I had a sort of a scare, I guess. I must have had the flu. We've got a lot of flus going around and tested negative.
Good.
But they're saying nowadays people are testing when they're positive, negative 3 to 5 days in.
Yeah.
And then it'll come up positive.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are testing negative and then they feel better, don't bother getting tested again, and they actually had it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you feel better, Joey. So what else we got here? And Russ Young is saying that your butters are amazing.
Well, yeah. I'm proud of our butters. You know, we've had a lot of people ask us to go back to or not go back, but switch over to a port, and it's just that's not us. We, you know, the only port product we offered is our balm.
Got it. And I didn't really even look at the balm. I'm so used to not looking at bombs anymore.
No, so our balm is the exact same ingredients list as our butters. It's with the exception of the beeswax, and it does not have the arrowroot in it.
Got it. And it's funny because the way I use butters now, I really use them like a balm. I maybe need to look back into getting back into bombs because I don't wear butter at night. You know, it wasn't a choice. I just kind of got lazy and stopped doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I use butters as to keep it in line and nothing else. So maybe I need to get in line with some bombs. And Unofficial Ken says teakwood and tobacco stand out to me. Oh, okay. He's talking about
Gotcha. Port
Royal. And he's saying teakwood and tobacco. That sounds up my alley. And Bearded Joey is saying your scents are well balanced. I've got to agree with that.
Thank you.
I've only tried 2 so far, but so far so good. And yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Admiral's Helm. And Russ says that was a dad joke. Now, I noticed, just kind of curious, I didn't see any merchandise on your
We
site.
don't do a lot of merchandise. It's very rare that we do. We offered hats and some shirts for a while, and I didn't get a lot of response from it. So we just haven't done it.
And the reason I asked is you've got a pretty cool logo. So, it just sort of looks like it's dying to be on something.
I'm not saying that it won't happen. Definitely. I love it. You know, I buy a lot of merch for me.
Got it.
Obviously, but
I do too for my, here it is for myself. In fact, I'm looking at the logo you've got there. I love the placement of that. I hate when often I make fun of companies that have the beard shirts or sweatshirts with the big logo right here where a beard belongs.
Oh no, it's gotta be offset.
Yep.
So
the for example, the shirt you've got on now, that's just something you get made for yourself.
Yeah, so we do. I've got a bunch of t-shirts made. We've got hats made, all kinds of things. In fact, my sons take all my hats, so I don't even know if one's in here. No, they've got them all.
Now, if you were to do a t-shirt, would you have the small logo on the front and then the big one on the back?
So I don't know if everyone's seen it. The shirt that we're actually fixing to have made is, I wonder, I've given them all away already, but let me grab something real quick. I'll show it to you.
All right. And if anyone has any, I'm falling behind as it is. If anyone has any questions, 6:30 is my favorite time, hands down. I don't know what that means because it's 8:50 here.
So this is an old discontinued product, so disregard what it says and everything. But we're gonna do that logo without the beard wash, and it'll have our slogan in there, the bomb before the storm, in there, in the writing in the cells, and that would be on the
back of the shirt.
Yeah.
Okay,
with
cool.
the cells behind it. It's it's a much bigger
I like
logo.
the kind of concert t-shirt style with the big thing on the back.
Yeah.
And Mark is wondering if there's a code out there.
I just created it for you guys, actually. We'll do just Ken 15.
Ken
Give you 15% off.
I like that. Bomb lives matter.
That's right.
And so that's going to go on a sweatshirt, t-shirt, hoodie.
Yeah, probably. I definitely want to get some hoodies made. I'm a big hoodie guy. So are my kids.
I'm not much of a hoodie guy. I'm a regular sweatshirt guy, but it seems as though I'm the only one. So,
but no, I primarily t-shirts. You know, I'd probably be wearing one, but I worked in it all day, and so it was filthy.
Yeah, the guy I go to to get my stuff made up, he's retiring, so I've got to put an order in sometime soon.
Gotcha.
What I found when I did get them made up is that I gave a lot away, and it was almost as expensive to ship a t-shirt as
that's
it was
what we
made.
did. I ended up giving more hats away than I sold ever, and so which I'm fine with that, promotional for sure, but we didn't have much response on the site when we had the merch on there.
And E-Rock mentioned your soaps look good enough to eat. I agree. And next time, what's the code to use? And I think he said Ken 15.
That's it.
And we got Bearded History in the house. Welcome in. And do you think Ken, you killed it? It was a dad joke. Christopher Robinson? He's a kid, right?
Yeah.
So how's it a dad joke? I don't get it. 6:30 is hands down in time. I don't know what that means, but. And Mark is thanking you for the code.
Yeah, certainly.
Aldemir, welcome in. And do you mind? Does anyone have a question for Clint?
Yeah, certainly.
While I go and get my dogs in before my dogs took off the other night. An invisible fence, and every once in a while, once every 3 months, the wires come loose.
Gotcha.
And they ended up about 7-8 miles away from the house, wandering down the road. Luckily, some kid, picked them up and gave us a call. And I'll get the dogs while.
And the answer to that primarily is no. And that's not because I don't want them to. I would love for them to. My youngest son, I have two sons. I have an 18-year-old and a 13-year-old. And my 13-year-old definitely shows interest whenever he gets paid. And whenever we do shows, he loves the show aspect of it because he loves talking to people. My youngest does. And so he likes to go to the trade shows with us, and he's a salesman. But when it starts coming to making the product and things like that, it's work at that point. And teenagers, they show no interest in it.
Yeah, no, work and teenagers do
Yeah,
not go together.
no.
But yeah, sorry for taking off. It's
Oh, you're
just
good.
these guys have got me nervous now about letting them go too long outside without. I had thought that they'd never run in the dark, but when they get up to that line and that collar's not beeping and telling them to stay the hell in, I guess they're just going to go.
Creeping on, aren't they?
So we're running close to the end of it, but I was wondering if there's. You did mention that your sweet spot is like 8 to 10, and that you've got a couple coming off. Does that mean it's going to be a while before some new things come out, or?
Probably. Unfortunately, most people that definitely know us, we don't produce scents like a lot of companies do, just because I want the scent to be a lasting scent. I don't want it to grow old, if that makes sense at all. I want it to be something that sticks around.
Gotcha. I mean, I know a lot of companies do a monthly scent, which I never bother with, only because I can't see getting a scent, reviewing it. By the time I review it, it's not available anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And that's our thing, is I want our scents to stick. That way, if somebody loves it, it's going to be there, and it's always there. So when we first started, oh my gosh, I don't know what we were thinking, but when we launched the company, I think we launched with like 14 or 15 different scents. And after about a year, we cut it back to 4. And just slowly, I think that very next year we grew it to where it's at. Over that year, we had a lot of scents dropping. But
the company I think of when I think about going crazy with a million different scents was Ferocious Beard, like a couple of years ago. I remember going to the site and there being like 80 different scents, and just it was too. It's like going to a restaurant with a 12-page menu. I mean, you just get lost in it.
It's just too much. You're going to look at the first dozen, 2 dozen scents and quit looking.
Or you're going to try and go through all 80 and drive yourself nuts.
Done. Yeah.
But even he knocked it down to a reasonable number now. And so you did mention that you've got a couple new ones coming. Earlier, you did kind of hint that.
Yeah, we're of course always working towards it. So it's funny because our soaps is what leads us to our beard products.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
You experiment with the soaps, and from that,
we do just because I don't have to waste it. You know what I mean? Because if I make a scent that's not going to work so much, I can at least use it, and I'm not just total waste there. And so, yeah, I've got boxes upon boxes of soaps that are never going to see the light of day and don't smell particularly good sometimes, but they'll at least clean me and do the job,
Yep. They're not going to go bad. There is no expiration on soap, is there?
No, definitely not. Like anything else, they may start over time losing some scent, but soap actually gets better the longer it sits, because all it's doing is just getting rid of the moisture that's in it, and it just becomes harder and harder and harder. And the harder a soap is, the better.
Gotcha. And E-Rock is mentioning that Nicholas Beard Works has a crazy list. I never thought their list of scents was crazy, because they put them all on one page, so it's easy to read down. I found that the site is too much of a hassle for me to figure out. I've always wanted to try it, but just I get annoyed, and then I
see. And that's me, man. That's why we try and stick to a very uniform, somewhat easy. Our soap list has gotten quite long, but
you know what? I don't think anyone minds a long soap list.
No, that's me. I could do it on the soaps, but when you start getting to the beard, I want it short and sweet.
Yeah. In fact, what a perfect gift for Christmas time. All those people that you don't want to get something all that expensive, but you want to get something nice.
Definitely. I mean, I don't think we show everything out of stock right now. There's a little bit left.
I'm
On the
seeing an
side.
espresso scrub soap, crow's nest.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, I think I've got. Here, I can actually tell you. It's very few of the crow's nest soap. Yeah, there's 4 bars left of crow's nest right now.
And you said that you got depleted during Black Friday.
We did. So we did the week before Black Friday, that Sunday before we were part of Brian Beards and Banjos Black Friday sale. And then we did a Black Friday sale and a Cyber Monday sale. And then this past weekend, we did 2 separate trade shows on Saturday. And it just...
That was enough to...
Yeah.
And I feel so foolish. I missed the live stream that he did with all the codes.
Yeah.
Had intended to go back and watch it, and all weekend long was saying, I've got to check it out, stock up on, with the cheap prices, and just never got around to it. And let it pass me by. But it looks like we are at 9:00. There are a couple of live streams that start up at 9.
I
Try
got
not to step on their toes. But I super appreciate you coming on. Glad
it was great.
We finally got it to work out. And thank you to everyone that came in, especially everyone that's still hanging out here waiting to get to the next live stream. So any parting words?
Oh, man, thank you guys for everything. Everyone that supports us is here. I appreciate everyone, man. I can't thank everyone enough. And so, Mark, I appreciate that, man, very much. And so just look forward to bigger and better for sure. We're always looking to develop new products and come out with new stuff. So we'll continue to grow.
So there you have it. All right. Thanks again, everyone.
Appreciate it.
And I'll hit the end broadcast.